Welcome to Coldlytics. Today, I am going to show you how to get started with business contact sourcing so you can start growing your business right away. Let's jump in and take a look for a very specific industry. Let's go for a classic example we use here, which is plumbers in a certain area. Let's go to location and we'll jump over to Miami and see what we can find for plumbers in Miami. We can set a radius here. Maybe an appropriate radius for this is going to be about 25 miles. And then we could come down and we could even stack in additional filters, like what technologies they're using, if they're on WordPress or if they're on GHL or Service Titan, Schedule Engine, HubSpot, you name it. We can filter to find businesses like that. We can filter to find out if they're advertising. So as a digital marketing agency, if that's you, you definitely want to be looking at things like this because this tells you, hey, these businesses already spend money on digital marketing, which means you don't have to sell them on the concept of buying from you. They're ready to buy those services already. The question is, are you the right person to buy it from? Which is a much more interesting target, in my opinion. So let's actually play with that here. Let's look at this buying intent for digital marketing. And we immediately picked up on 19 specifically in Miami that are doing this. And if we change this out and run this search a little bit differently, let's actually, before we jump ahead and do that, let's save these 19 results and we're going to add them to a new list. We're going to call this Miami plumbers who buy ads. And if I could spell that might help. We're going to create this list here and save these contacts so we can cherry pick through those later and get contact source for those through our human research team here in the platform that you have access to. So let's run back and go change the search. Let's go for plumbing. There's 43 more. Excellent. So we've selected these 43 results. Again, we're in the same parameters. We're going to add these to that list as well. And we're starting to carve out a really nice list. You can see there were 16 duplicates there that got removed from that list, or rather not added twice. And maybe, if there's a variation on that, you could go out even further. So you could say, heating companies, for example, in Miami as well. They're probably right up that alley as well. And you could get into HVAC, et cetera. But let's keep this specific for this example. We're going to jump into saved lists now. So here's what we're going to do now. We are going to find contacts for this list. Let's click this box here. We can see our list is now ready for us to do additional research on and specify who we want those contacts to be. So as I mentioned, we're going to go for owners and founders. And as a rule of thumb, you're generally going to want to always select directors and executives too, because they may call themselves the CEO, but they're actually the founder or still the top level decision maker, right? So we're going to grab both of those. And this saves you from having to type out all the individual titles. So we're going to click next. Now, we do have a wealth of filters that you can get into and use as needed. We have other videos on that content. So what I'm just going to do is quickly show you at a high level what this looks like without drilling down into each of these. Things like website keyword filters allow you to get very specific in what we should look for on the website to make sure they're a fit. And then we've got standard things like the size of the business, the age of the business that you can filter on. And you can play with these yourself even further. Same with technographic information, what ad networks they're utilizing, et cetera, on their platforms. You can filter by all these things. And last but not least, there's also a suppression list. So if you've been buying data before and you don't want to buy the same contacts twice, great. You can provide either the email address or the website URL or LinkedIn profile URL if you prefer to this suppression sheet, and we'll go and deduplicate. And if we pick up on that matching data point, then we will, specifically website URL or email address, we will go and make sure that that doesn't get put on your list. So you're only getting net new, fresh data. Let's jump back and we're going to deliver this out. So we're going to request the data points that we want in this step. Right here, we're looking at the first and last name of the prospect. We've got the company name selected. These, again, are going to become the headers of the spreadsheet we give you. So we've got the job title selected for that decision maker. So you need to know that. You need to know what their direct email address is. And this has a guarantee behind it. So the guarantee is that it will be an accurate deliverable email address, or we'll credit it back to your account. And we want to know that. So you can just message us to do so as needed. The website URL. And of course, the LinkedIn profile, if they've got one. Plumbers may not in a lot of cases. Now, over here on the left-hand column, there's up to 20 more data points that are very valuable to you. So things like the business's address, broken out by city, state, zip, etc. Then the phone number for the business, you'll want that. The direct dial here is the mobile number for these businesses. We find this about 20% of the time. It could be an office number depending on the industry, but in this day and age, it's typically the owner's cell phone number. Now, we find these about 20% of the time, and it does use an extra credit in the platform just for the ones that we provide you in Find It, and it is an optional data point. The other ones are all included within the use of one credit in the platform, and we have coverage on that in other videos as well. So the company social media links, we could grab those here now as well. And then we can jump into the things we talked about earlier, which were, again, these aren't filters. This isn't limiting the list. This is just adding information to the list we give you. So we've got the revenue, headcount, the date the company was established, the pixel detection. So are they buying digital ads? If yes, what platforms are they buying them on? This gives you additional insight before going into a sales call with those businesses in advance. Saves you some digging. Google Analytics, perhaps they're not using a pixel, but they did set up Google Analytics at some point. This is a true or false data point that we'll give you. So what this tells you is, hey, yes, they're not necessarily spending money on ads, but if they set up Google Analytics, that doesn't happen by mistake. That is something that takes an investment in technology to understand how to do. And they've either paid someone to do that or they cared enough to learn it themselves. So that's also a positive buying signal for you as a digital marketer. Now, here we've also got e-commerce detection. If a checkout function on that website is the industry you're in, we can find that out for you. If they have a WordPress function, or rather CMS behind that website, we can detect that and tell you that. And last but not least is the page speed of the website. So how quickly did it load? Have they already invested in SEO a little bit? If it's a pretty fast website, chances are the answer is yes. So the great things to know going into this. Next, we're going to hit the next button here. Additional notes. We don't need to add any notes at this point. We're just going to move my floating menus here out of the way. And you can see we've already named this for you the same as what you saved the list. So Miami plumbers who buy ads. And we're going to set this to 25 because we've got 25 credits in the account. And every month you're going to have 25 fresh credits in your account to use. So you can use these every month if you're just getting started with cold outreach. You're not ready to ramp up into 50, 100, 1,000 or more contacts yet. You can still get great use out of this platform by getting these contacts researched regularly every single month. So we'll start with 25. And because we have selected the direct dial data point, we don't have enough credits in the account. So what I'm going to do is jump in here and remove the premium data point because we're on the free plan in this trial. And we can now launch this task. You can see here it says Miami plumbers who buy ads is now being allocated to the team. The researcher in-house here at Coldlytics who has the most experience with this is going to define how this gets researched and who's going to be on the team that actually curates the contact information for these businesses. So it's not just a set it and forget it automation. We're using a combination of human intelligence, human intervention, and control of things like AI to maximize the results that we can find you, ultimately giving you leads that don't exist in many other platforms out there, especially in the small business side of the data world out there. It's often overlooked because this data changes very quickly and it's not as valuable as large business information because there's so many more people looking for that. The large competitors out there that sell data that isn't geared specifically to agencies often overlook these home service fields and specific niches like this. So that's why Coldlytics exists. I come from an agency background prior to starting this business, and I have discovered that human research lists produce the best results over time consistently. And so my experience has shown that by doing it this way, you're able to find people who are more receptive to your outreach, give you the upper hand in closing deals and closing deals that you would otherwise have never gotten because you found them here in the platform and did this digging. So there's other ways that you can use Coldlytics as well through a custom research list that I'll quickly cover here. Last but not least, we're going to click on the new task button now, and you can source businesses that aren't in the database yet. So if we haven't found those companies, and again, Voyager DB, where we started here in this demo, is strictly company information and technology insights. It's not giving you the contacts of who owns them. We don't know that. We don't store that. We're going out and researching that from scratch for you. If we come back to tasks, we're going over to new task and we're going to click on small businesses, and you could run that same search this way or any other similar search if you wanted to. And then this just follows the exact same flow that you saw before. Enterprise is the same. The difference is these are typically not home service niches. They're not businesses that you'll likely find on a Google Maps search or a Google business profile. These might be manufacturing companies or tech companies or software companies, etc. Over here, we have custom. A custom list source is where you are providing us a list of websites or a custom source on the internet where you know there's a list of businesses that are very interesting to you and you'd like to target. And you want somebody to take the time to go research those businesses and determine who the decision maker is, how to get in touch with them, and provide that to you in a spreadsheet. So that's what this is all about. And then finally, here we do have the LinkedIn search results too. If you're more comfortable working in the LinkedIn platform and that's what you're familiar with looking at data from, you can go and get a list started from LinkedIn. Do your research on LinkedIn. Give us the search URL. We'll go look and see if those profiles match what you're looking for, because LinkedIn is notorious for showing you anybody but an owner when you're looking for an owner, and so on and so forth with their data quality. So if you want us to just start with the good list you have there and refine it and research it further, we can do that for you as well. And then it continues with the flow here to request a list, as I've shown you earlier on in this demo. So thank you so much for watching up to this point. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are happy to help you. There's a live chat here in the bottom left corner. We're excited to have you in the platform, and we'll see you on the other side. Bye for now.